All right. And we are up into our last, but of course, certainly not least talk. So we're going to welcome back Sarah to the stage, and Sarah's going to be the moderator for a chat about video use cases on the FVM. So video, of course, being an incredibly data-intensive application. We're joined by two awesome builders in the space. So we're joined by Akshit from Huddle01 and Yondon from Live So I'll also invite them up to the stage and to unmute and share their screen or share their video as well. And I will let Sarah take it from here.
Thank you, Jacob. All right, cool. Hi, nice to meet everyone again. We're back. We're back with more teams that are building around with and in the Filecoin ecosystem. Today we're joined by LivePure and Huddle01. Really exciting teams that we've been talking a lot with. We've also done like some amazing events with these teams. Like we're all in Bangalore. It was really huge for Inter Blockchain Week. That was super exciting. Huddle01 did an amazing Seoul Bangalore. So yeah, really happy to have both of you come on today. Today we have Yondon and Akshit from LivePure and Huddle01. So I'll let you do a quick introduction. For those of you who have not met me in the previous talk, I'm Sarah from the FVM team under developer advocacy. So yes, I will let Yondon and Akshit do a quick introduction.
Sure, I guess I can kick things off. So thanks for the introduction and thanks for having me. My name is Yondon and I'm one of the co-founders of LivePure, and these days I lead a lot of our engineering and research efforts. And yeah, happy to be here and to talk about video and FVM and LivePure.
So hi guys. So I'm Akshit. I'm a full stack developer at Huddle01 and I lead the front end team there. And I'm also one of the founding developers over there. So the team work revolves around the SDK infra, which powers the Huddle01 platform.
Yeah, thanks for that quick introduction. We would love to hear much more about what I think for those who are new to what LivePure and Huddle01 offer and what they're building. Would love to hear more about what you're building these days, what you're really excited about. Both of you are come from teams and projects that are very video centric. It is, video is huge in general. Web 2, Web 3, regardless. It's really, really huge right now. It's like the biggest format and most popular. The decentralized video is going to be a really huge thing, right? What we want to find out today from you is what are you building, what you're excited about, and yeah, why a decentralized version of video? So yeah, I'll Yondon, maybe you want to start off with what LivePure is up to these days and what LivePure is about for those that are new.
Sure. So taking a step back, I think at a high level, the way that I've described the work that we're doing at LivePure is building open and decentralized video infrastructure. And we decided to focus specifically on video because the reality is that video, being super data intensive and compute heavy, it is one of the hardest mediums of content to scale on the internet today, and it's pretty cost prohibitive. And a crucial piece of this infrastructure is video processing. One flavor of which we focused on is video transcoding, the process of taking a single video and basically being able to translate it into all these different versions so that you can effectively play it on any device anywhere around the world. And that compute is pretty heavy. And we've created this global decentralized network that offers this service and an open marketplace where you can bring your hardware and bring your bandwidth in order to push down this cost of service and provide this service to the network in an open and decentralized manner. And the way that we work with developers historically is we have this LivePure Studio product that's built on top of the network that offers a gateway API, an SDK, as well as various video player tools to make it easy to integrate live streaming or video on demand experiences into your app. So I'll pause there and happy to expand further later on.
For sure. Akshit, how about you and Huddle01?
Yeah, absolutely. So Huddle01 is a communication toolkit for Web3, and our mission is to cater to 100 million members over Huddle01 by 2026. And we have three pillars, which our motion is about. And first is the Huddle01 web platform, which is a sufficiently decentralized real-time communication platform for NFTs and DAO communities and Web3 native users. So if you have a DAO or an NFT community, you can token-gate your calls, use your NFTs as PFPs, so you feel right at home in the Web3 world. Then we have our SDKs. So we have plug and play toolkits for builders to power their apps with audio video communications in their product with a few lines of code. So even our web platform is powered by our SDK infrastructure. So that's a proof of how powerful our web SDKs are. And using our SDKs, a lot of hackers even built beautiful products in some of our hackathons. We recently had one December holiday hackathon in which we saw beautiful products, and even one with LivePeer called Encode, which was pretty awesome. Then the third pillar at Hurdle 01 is the DRTC protocol, which is called Divergent, and it is a peer-to-peer protocol in which you can leverage decentralized communication using any RTC client. So even if it is a DRTC app, like if it is an app which is backed by WebRTC, you can directly talk to our DRTC protocol and leverage the infrastructure. So that is a summary about Hurdle 01 and what it is bringing to the Web3 world.
Cool. Thanks so much for sharing that. I think our team as well has played around a little bit with both LivePeer and Hurdle 01. I think one of our developer advocates, Matt, he has been publishing his videos to LivePeer, and he really wants to explore more of that. How we can get, and our team is looking at it as well, like how can we get all the great tutorials that we're doing and kind of test it out in LivePeer and seeing any integration with FVM in the future. And for Hurdle 01, we also want to convert our check-ins and our calls. We're going to start experimenting to try using the platform as well. So I think we saw a live update that was announced at Phil Bangalore about how there's access control now for conferences, right? Live conferences, which is pretty cool, because then you can see certain screens will be just, you can't actually see who's behind them. So I think it makes for a very interesting new feature to all these live conferences and live meetings that we're doing. I think the next question that I have for both of you is, what are some ways in which you're exploring working together with the Filecoin ecosystem? And in particular, FVM, if there are any plans.
Sure. So I think the most relevant on the LivePeer side at the moment is we're pretty excited about supporting and advancing video streaming on the internet with decentralized protocols and decentralized networks. And lately, we've been really focused on trying to make video streaming work really well with IPFS, decentralized storage protocols like IPFS and Filecoin. And I think what some people might be aware of, but not many that are outside of this particular domain, is that there's just so many different parts of the video pipeline that are stitched together in order to make video streaming work at scale. It's not just storage, it's not just compute, it's not just fast retrieval and content delivery. It's really all of those things under the sky integrated in a tightly conjoined manner so that things can work really well. So we spent a lot of time over the past couple of years really making sure that we can push the costs of processing down. And we've also built end-to-end services that leverage that network, but we're also really interested in basically taking the capabilities that we've built and supporting video streaming within the IPFS and Filecoin ecosystem. An example of this is in the fall, we launched this IPFS playback feature where you can take any video CID that is located or stored in IPFS on the public network or on Filecoin and take that CID, transcode it into all these different outputs and renditions, and stream it back for anyone using that same CID. So basically giving developers that are used to working with CIDs a familiar interface, but enhanced capabilities, and now you can stream on a more scalable manner. So we're excited to continue working with the IPFS Filecoin teams, the folks working on Treble, in order to make this, say, a first-class feature of the networks that we're a part of. As it pertains to the FVM, I think maybe we'll have time to talk specifically about more specific application and use cases, but generally I'm excited about the prospect of these programmable storage contracts that enable these collectives to come together in order to provision storage and compute resources, because I think that really changes the paradigm of computing and cloud computing that we're used to, where you'll have a single individual rent resources for someone that has the resources required in order to scale your app. But now we can do things like a collective or a community comes together and they can jointly, using smart contracts, rent resources, provision resources together in order to create interesting products that create value for that community. So that's like my super generic answer. And maybe we can talk about use cases or apps separately.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a lot of exploration right now at FVM. I mean, as you also know, like, and all of you also know, like, the product is being built as we go along. So there's a lot of exploration to do there. Cracking retrieval, data retrieval is a huge and really, really important task that we're looking at. And the fact that LivePeer has managed to crack it for a huge, like, video being such a huge, like, data file as well, I think that's super interesting. I would like to check out more on the IPFS side of things and how that, like, the new feature that you mentioned is actually working right now. So yeah. How about you, Akshit? Like, how's it going for Huddle 01?
Yeah, so Hurdle 01 from the start, leverages IPFS and Filecoin for storage. So like all the meeting recordings and the live stream recordings which are powered by LivePeer are stored on the Filecoin network. So once we have this programmability that Yondon just talked about, we'll be able to compute over this data and create much more powerful apps, and we can create marketplaces for videos, which could then the users could even curate their content over there and do multiple things. And another use case that we are even researching into was storing our metadata using FVM actors. So I'm actually in the Filecoin Foundry team as well, where in the Foundry program, where I'm also reading about those, getting it up to date, so that we can implement the FVM things in Hurdle 01 as well.
Yeah, for those of you who missed the earlier panel, the Foundry program is the FVM Foundry Early Builders program. So we have like teams that come on, they maybe have an idea, maybe just they're exploring, and they build together with us for the period of the milestone. So that when we go to mainnet launch, they actually have full projects to go out, and that's what Huddle 01 has been participating in. And if LivePeer wants to join, very happy to take you on too. I mean, thanks for sharing those two things. It's something that we definitely have a lot of opportunities to build out on. Given that programmability just opens up like really anything that you can imagine. In a sense. I guess the next question that we do want to know, and I know a few people from the community have also asked me this, is, and this is a general thing with Web 2 and Web 3, right? Especially for video being so robust in Web 2 and a lot of people consuming off Web 2 platforms right now. What do you think, from your perspective, what is the reason that moving to a decentralized video platform, what makes it more interesting or better or more efficient or more performant than Web 2 options that exist right now?
Yeah, so I guess always worth kind of talking about the distinction between, say, like the application platform and the underlying infrastructure. I, working on the infrastructure side, can speak a little bit more to the infrastructure, but there's certainly reasons to favor Web3 application platforms as well. But on the infrastructure side, from my point of view, I think there are two main things in my mind that Web3 infrastructure and decentralized infrastructure represents. The first is a really big opportunity to commoditize existing bandwidth and compute and storage resources in order to drastically push down the cost of this infrastructure with community-powered networks and community-powered marketplaces. And video infrastructure is just such an expensive offering in a traditional cloud computing context, where for that reason, it's actually really hard to bootstrap new creative applications, because in order to even get to a reasonable scale, you're dealing with all these fixed and variable costs that are massive right off the get-go. And as a result, it really leaves you with very few business models that you can explore. And in our point of view at LivePeer, we think that there's a lot of constraints placed on application level innovation when the only avenues that you have to explore are dictated by what your super high cost basis is in provisioning infrastructure. So I think from a cost point of view, with these decentralized networks, with these token incentivized networks, we have an opportunity to really push down costs, and that just enables you to explore new application ideas that you currently can't. The other bit that I think is fairly important is this notion of having a credibly neutral playing field for you to build on. So with a lot of the infrastructure services and SaaS companies that you build on top of today, while oftentimes it might make sense for you to start off there, really there's a lot of variability in terms of things like pricing, cases where your infrastructure provider ultimately ends up competing against you by releasing a competitive offering, and they can obviously offer that at a much lower cost basis than you can because they own those resources. So it ends up with this dynamic of, do you really want to be building on an infrastructure layer where it's not a credibly neutral playing field? But with decentralized networks and decentralized infrastructure, we do have an opportunity to lay out that infrastructure in a way where it is a level playing field, and you as a builder can start building today with the confidence that this will continue to exist and work in the way that you think it'll work in the future, which we think is also quite important for experimentation and permissionless building.
Yeah, I think I mean, as a kind of the benchmark for those that are listening in, I think I read somewhere that LivePeer brings it down to about 50 times the cost associated with traditional or like Web2 existing options for video, for video streaming, right? Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that, and a lot of that is to the first point of really leveraging the dynamics we can create with these networks and tokenized incentives and community powered networks where these resources exist today. Let's try to aggregate them and then put them to good use for the people that want to actually build cool things with it.
Yeah. And Akshit, for yourself, like how did Huddle01 spot this gap in being able to provide decentralized Zoom conferences in a way?
Yeah, so like this actually started in a hackathon itself. So our founders Ayush and Sushmit were in a hackathon and they saw everyone building around Web3, but they saw all the meetings being done on Zoom. So that's where the idea popped up of having a decentralized solution for video conferencing. And what really differs from the Web2 equivalents of those are like in Google Meet and Zoom, like we are doing a meeting right now. So it doesn't really cater to the Web3 community. So like if you have an NFT or a DAO community, you'd want to feel like you're a part of a group, right? So you can't token gate your calls using those tokens. So that's what Huddle solves. Then it also gives you like crypto primitives such as PFPs, NFT PFPs, which also brings in like a better alternative for the Web3 crowd. And other than that, like we're also leveraging Filecoin. So Filecoin is way cheaper than using other centralized solutions such as Amazon S3. And like once the retrieval is solved, then it will be much more easier for people to retrieve their data and use it on there. So these are some of the things that differs us from the Web2 equivalents. And other than that, like WebRTC also comes with peer-to-peer calling. So our DRTC protocol is also peer-to-peer. So it comes with two things. First, it's your data is not being shared to any central servers. It doesn't go to any central server. And then the other thing is that the latency is also very less. So you don't have to go around central servers and go to the peer then. So the latency is very less. So that's how the Web3 it differs from the Web2 equivalence.
Yeah. And related question on this, and out of curiosity, what are your thoughts around like being able to maintain the network of different providers? Because I think for decentralized networks, especially when it's like with storage and you need a lot of people that are participating in network to be able to deliver the fast streaming times that you need. Is that a challenge that you see, and briefly, just out of curiosity, how do your team deal with that?
Yeah, it's actually a little difficult to do with that because right now, like we have central servers on our main platform, although like we are on a road to progressive decentralization, where these like the providers, the media server providers, will be incentivized using tokens or other markets or other video markets, and that's how they'll be able to power that communication. It's a long road ahead.
For sure. And I think to close off thank you so much for sharing like more insights into the back ends and the thoughts and the considerations behind building this decentralized video platforms. It's not easy task at all, right? And the fact that you are able to watch videos like the way that we are used to it, and it being fully decentralized, it's just purely amazing. So thank you so much for building the project that you're building. I guess to close off, one of the things that I guess want to know is for both of you, what are some dApps or video dApps that you would be really looking forward to seeing from hackers?
Yeah, I guess I can rack two off first. So when I thought about this with this question, I have maybe like simpler example and complex, like that would be awesome example. But the simpler example would just be I think with the FVM storage contracts, I think it'd be really cool to start seeing things like really actual permanent perpetual storage of certain videos that you want to preserve forever for archival reasons. And it's just sort of like a set it and forget it experience. And you know that this video will always be accessible and it might be a really important artifact from a knowledge standpoint. Ranging from that to you having like a massive archive of videos that you want to preserve and being able to program like a large volume discount on that because you know that it's going to be like many petabytes of archival video data that is really important to preserve from kind of like a human history standpoint or something along the lines. So I think those are interesting. Like it's just taking video as a medium, but it's just generally exploring what you can do with video preservation with the FVM contracts. And the thing that is probably more complex, but I think it would be really exciting is with these programmable storage contracts and the research that folks are doing on data DAOs, creating these templates so that communities and collectives can spin up a data DAO. And that data DAO has all the baked in functionality so that it can bundle together the payments it needs for storage, bundle the payments it needs for compute, for retrieval, and then all of those are handled by the DAO itself on a regular basis so that it provisions resources for anyone that is a DAO member. And if you're a member of that DAO, you get to use those resources because you're a member of that collective. And then that gives you the opportunity to explore these monetization models where maybe the collective comes together, provisions these resources by bootstrapping some funding, and then creates a product of value. And then a portion of that value goes back into the DAO's treasury in order to continue provisioning resources for the DAO going forward. And in this way, you can actually start exploring these self-sustaining applications that can pay for resources on their own. And then it abstracts away the need to say like, I need this for storage, I need this for compute, I need this for retrieval. And you have these templates that can kind of package things up so that people can just deploy these and experiment. And I think that would be really awesome.
Hey, no, if you're listening right now as a hacker, that was literally a project that he just described. So take note and you can build it as well. So thank you for giving the answers, Yondon. Okay, Akshit, what about you? What would you like to see being built?
Yeah, so I'll give a reference of a book that I was reading the other day. So it's called The Great Good Place by Ray Oldenburg. And he talks about unlocking the third place. And, the third place is a place where people come together and, they come voluntarily and they come regularly and anticipate to gather there. So what this does is that it spawns video commerce. So if like you see these days, there are platforms like TikTok, Instagram, we see videos all over the internet. So video is a really powerful thing. And like I'm really excited about like platforms like video marketplaces building, where creators can, curate their own videos, exchange them in a decentralized way, and they can charge for it. And there will be a competition between each of them. So that will also hike down the prices. So those are some great use cases that of programmability that FVM provides. And I'm really excited to see things around this where social apps and video commerce kinds of things are being built on FVM.
Cool. So like, yeah, I can totally see like a marketplace for videos being traded around. That would be kind of interesting to see how that DAO would look like. And then just throwing in my idea because I was thinking about it as you both were talking, but I would love to see like a dApp or like a data DAO that does subtitling for videos. Whether it's like decentralized computing, because I know that that's not an easy one to solve. Because usually if you're doing subtitling for live video streaming, you would have like a live translator or you would have a really strong AI model. We'd love to see how that can be decentralized. I think it can make a huge difference to complement all the great decentralized video platforms out there today. So yeah, the quick little brainstorm. Feel free to take our ideas and build it out. We'd like to see all your projects, being formed out of all these discussions that we have. And let's definitely continue these on the Discord and on the Filecoin Stack channel. So yes, thank you so much to Yondon and Akshit for coming on the call today from your different time zones. That was a really great discussion on what video has to offer in the Web3 space. And yes, guys, please check out Live Here and Huddle01. Cool. Thank you so much, both.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for